Hey guys, I'm Rick Knockby,
I'm Ray Tansen.
and we're here to tell you about a special Christmas gift that we have for RM customers as well as AI console customers. So, Ray, what's the gift?
All right, Merry Christmas. We have a lot of new features and functionality for the RM mixers, AI console mixers, CS18, and Capture. And so we've done a lot of testing and a lot of implementation. Our engineers have been hard at work, and we think it's ready just in time for Christmas for a public beta to invite all of you guys in to enjoy all these new features and check it out for yourself.
All right, so what does public beta exactly mean?
Well, the public beta means that we've done a lot of testing internally as well as with our private beta group to make sure that all the new features and functionality are working correctly, make sure this is a solid release that isn't going to have any major showstoppers in it. But like I said, there's so many new functions and features in this, we really just want to get as much coverage as possible to make sure there's not something hidden away somewhere that we may have missed, and to make sure you guys are comfortable with it and feel good about it.
Right on.
So with this public beta, what we're going to do is allow you guys to go onto our user form if you're a registered customer and get access to all of the new public beta files and firmware updates and software.
So you just basically log in with your My Personas account, go to the Personas forum, and then you'll see a special public beta forum, and all of the files are there, right?
Exactly. So it's just for our registered users. So if you're comfortable doing the public beta, go into the My Personas forums, make sure you're logged into your My Personas account, and then you'll see a listing for the forum for the public beta. And in that forum will be all of the information about the public beta as well as all the files that you need to download. Now, because this is a public beta, we're not doing traditional support for this release through our phone systems and our email. All of the feedback and communication is going to be right there on that public beta forum. Now, the exciting thing is there's going to be myself as well as our QA group, as well as a few of our private beta testers are going to be in that forum. So they'll be able to talk to you, give you feedback, take your feedback and answer any questions and have kind of a little community experience with anybody who wants to do the public beta.
Right on. So when will the real public release going to be for the new driver?
Well, ultimately, it'll depend on how things go with the public beta, on what people find and when they feel it's comfortable to release. But our goal is to allow this to be in public beta for about a month or so that we can do the final release around the time of NAMM in January.
Right on. So why don't you tell these fine people what they're going to get with this new
All right.
release?
So there's a lot of things that people have been excited for and looking forward to. Probably one of the bigger things that we have in this release is the new cascading for the RM mixers.
Any two mixers, RM16, RM32, can be cascaded together, so you can go up to 64?
That's right. So it's the only mixing system available where you can start with a 16-channel mixer and grow just by adding on to it without replacing your system all the way up to a complete 64-channel mixing system. And the other thing that's pretty cool about this, as you may know, and some of you guys may know, cascading with our console mixers is done via FireWire. Well, we stepped it up with the RM mixers, and RM mixers are cascaded with AVB networking. That means they don't need to be located in the same place. So you can have one of your RM mixers on stage left and one on stage right, or you can have one on stage and one at front of house if you have a bunch of inputs at front of house. And it's all controlled as a single 64-channel mixer from either the CS18 or UC Surface.
That's awesome. So in UC Surface, you actually won't see two mixers. You'll see one big old mixer.
That's right. So it's not two separate mixer tabs. Once you set up cascading, you're just going to be able to scroll through 64 channels. Another thing that's great is because we already have our filter DCA group, so you can navigate and view your channels in more bite-sized chunks. It's going to make it a lot easier when you're mixing on an iPad to really efficiently mix 64 channels.
That's killer. So what are some of the other new improvements that we've done with this release?
So in addition to the cascading, we've also done some improvements by adding a second stage box mode. So
awesome. This is for the AI consoles.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So for those of you that are not familiar, the AI consoles can use an RM mixer as a stage box, but currently the way that it's implemented is sort of the RM mixer, sort of like a monitor mixer. So basically your front of house auxes are available on the AI console, and then you have an additional 16 auxes available on stage, but those are only controllable currently using UC Surface. So now in this new release, how's it going to work?
So with the new release, we have a second stage box mode. So you can still use that mode if you want to run it as a separate monitor mixer and get all of the extra aux mixes. But now you can run it in a simple stage box mode where it completely bypasses the DSP mixing of the RM mixer and works like a traditional stage box. So now you have access to all of your inputs on the RM mixer to the console mixer at front of house.
From the Surface?
Yep, with control over all the preamps. So now your AI console mixer with an RM stage box has recallable preamps. But then instead of mixing the aux mix outputs on the RM mixer will feed the aux mixes and subgroups from the console mixer at front of house to its outputs. So it works just like a traditional stage box. So with one Ethernet cable going from an RM mixer to your AI console mixer at front of house, you now get a remote stage box.
Simple stage box.
Yep.
That's awesome. Great. What else do we get on this new release?
Well, we've done a few things that kind of under the hood, and this is more of an advanced feature, but it's something that really is going to stabilize the networking aspects of it. So we've got a whole new mode for doing IP address modes and management. So previously we would kind of automatically choose whether we were doing a dynamic IP address or a static IP address based off of what the mixer saw when it first came up. Well, now we allow the users to actually choose that and it'll stay in that mode. This is going to give us better network stability and performance as well as eliminating any need for special boot orders and modes and things like that.
That's killer.
So we have three IP address modes. One is dynamic, and that's the way it's in normally. And that's what most people are going to use. That's basically the mode that you use, that if you're using a router, the router will assign IP addresses to all the devices. And that's what it is for default and what most people will use. But then we also have a mode for a static self-assigned IP address that we will assign an IP address to the mixer itself, and that for like the stage box mode, if you're doing a direct connection and don't have a router set up, you set it up that way so that it always boots up knowing its IP address. And then the third mode is, again, an advanced mode, and that allows a static manually assigned IP address. So that allows you, in a big installation, if you need to control the exact IP addresses of every device on the network, you can go in and manually enter in your IP address, subnet mask, and gateway.
Nice.
So more advanced features, but overall they're going to contribute to the stability of your networking system in general.
Right on. So how about some of the other improvements for the CS18 guys?
Yeah, so this is the first big update for the CS18 since we first launched it, and we've got some new stuff on there. One of the things is our new lock for the main mix. So it allows you to lock the main mix faders for the faders. So instead of having your aux mixes come up on the faders, the aux mixes will now come up on the encoders in the FAT channel.
And leave your main mix on faders.
That's right.
Right.
So your faders will always be your main mix. And you can lock that or unlock it on the fly just by holding the main mix button for 3 seconds.
Right. So for those of you that are comfortable with sort of the traditional Studio Live workflow where your faders are always your main mix, and then when you wanted to adjust an aux, you would hit the mix control and now your auxes are on encoders, you'll be able to do that on the CS18.
That's right.
That's cool.
Another cool thing is we've implemented a variety of options for the foot switch. So you can choose it to be record, tap tempo, talkback, a few other things. We've added the ability to control your GEQs from the encoder knobs as well.
That's right. A lot of people wanted that.
Yeah, a little faster to dial in your GEQ settings. We've got a lot of other stability improvements, so some things with the touchscreen and with the encoders to kind of speed things up a little bit and make it a little smoother to operate and feel a little bit better.
Nice, nice. Now, one of my favorite new features is what we've done with Capture. Tell us about that.
All right. So this huge update also includes an update to Capture 2.2. And what this update to Capture enables is complete remote control of Capture. So now from the CS18, you can control Capture for all of your recording. You can enter in your virtual sound check mode. You can do your one-touch recording, get things going really quickly.
Right. But then also on UC Surface.
That's right. So with the update with UC Surface, we now have a remote of Capture right from UC Surface. So if you're on the iPad wandering around the gig, you got complete control and monitoring of what Capture is doing from UC Surface. So
awesome.
you hit a button and your fat channel view, so your fader, you never leave your faders, that's the concept of UC Surface, right? So your fat channel view comes up with a remote view of capture. So you can do your one-touch recording, you can do your virtual sound check. You also see all of the great monitoring of your record time, so you know how much recording time you've done, and you also see how much recording time is left available on your disk. So you can monitor all of this stuff remotely no matter where you're at.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty big updates. We're really excited about this. And as you can tell, you know, going through and doing all of these new functions and features is a lot of effort and a lot of work. And that's why we really are excited about doing this as a public beta, because now that we've got all of this effort and work put into it, it gives you guys a chance to bang on it for a little while and us to spread out some of the testing efforts so that we really have a solid, stable release when this is full release. And you guys get to help contribute to that.
That's killer. I'm going to download it tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Hey, and thanks for all of your support and for watching, and hope you guys have a great holiday season.